This edition of Italy TV is sponsored by Cola Vita, extra virgin olive oil. And Cheerio chopped tomatoes.
Italian diet calls for bread. We always have bread on our tables. In American restaurants, we don't have it all the time. And that's kind of like bothers us a little bit. So today I decided to take this journey through the bakeries around the city. And I started from the Little Italy in the Bronx on Arthur Avenue. Madonna Brothers Bakery from 1918. One of the oldest in Arthur Avenue. And they have more than 50 varieties of bread. I want to go inside and see what it is. I want to try some of their bread. I heard the most popular one is the olive bread, correct?
Because it's delicious. You have to try it and then you'll find out yourself.
It's very soft as well. It's very... Thank you. So what's your favorite bread?
My favorite bread is gonna be jalapeno bread. Yeah, that's my favorite, because I'm Mexican, so I like hot stuff.
Do you only eat the bread that you make?
Sometimes I go somewhere else, I gotta be honest with you, because I like to taste somebody else. That way I can see how can I make my better.
Continuing our journey to the bread making in Arthur Avenue in the Bronx brought me to Adeo Bakery, who's also very old and is very traditional of this place. How the family business came along.
Many years ago, my dad, he originally went to Holland to live when he came from Italy, and he was a piano polisher, and a cousin of his wanted to start up a business, and he asked him to go into business with him, a bakery business. He knew nothing about it, and since then, from Harlem, we migrated up to the Bronx, and from the Bronx, we're here, 2012, and we're still here and all that.
If you have to be a customer on your own store, which is the first bread you would like to buy?
The Casa. Yeah, Casa bread is it's the most popular loaf, it's the best loaf, it's the most versatile loaf too, right?
It's delicious, the best thing for breakfast. A piece of seeded bread with butter and a cup of coffee. That's the ultimate breakfast.
Andiamo. Si pronto?
Che bellezza! All this bread, like walking around, made me hungry. So I came here and David made me this Bronx style panino, which is original from the Bronx. David, what's this inside?
The ingredients in the Bronx style: the imported San Daniele mortadella, homemade fresh mozzarella, tomatoes, basil, and then we get a shave of a mandarini provolone that's a little picante pero cremoso, a little extra virgin oil from Sicily, and reduced balsamic.
This is exactly what I needed. Go around New York City looking for bread. I end up in Manhattan, Italy. I want to see if they make the bread differently from the one that I saw in the Bronx. We have the bread this rustic with raisins, with figs, with provolone, with salami, with prosciutto, even the French baguette. How much bread do you make in a day, approximately?
We'll do maybe between 2,000 and 4,000 loaves of bread. We'll probably do close to 3,000 kilos in one day.
Always make sure that your bread doesn't kill the taste of your dish. I'm here at Casa Italiana at Zerelli Marimo in New York University, an Italian center in the heart of New York, where you can follow seminar readings and concerts. I'm here to launch a few segments. First one, for our food and wine corner, Italian-American husband and wife, Charles and Michelle Ciccolone, expert of food and wine, they're gonna take us in a journey about Parmigiano and a new version of Italian creme brulee.
Hi, I'm Michelle Ciccolone.
And I'm Charles Ciccolone.
And we're here today at Fabrica, a brand new restaurant in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And we're going to be tasting some classic Italian dishes prepared by Chef Simone. Now this is one of the chef's specialties. It's a creme brulee made with Parmigiano-Reggiano. The chef, after making this delicious custard, has put a little bit of a glaze on top and a few drops of balsamic vinegar, 30-year-old balsamic vinegar that he's used to add a contrasting flavor to the sweetness and the creaminess of the creme brulee. Charles, this one seems like a challenge. What do you think would go well with it?
No, it's not a challenge.
Not at all?
This dish calls for Lambrusco. Lambrusco comes from the Emilia part of Emilia-Romagna, and it is a red wine which is sparkling and served slightly chilled. And because of this, it is the type of wine that cuts through heavy food and rich food. So I think that this would really be the perfect combination. As we know, the food of Emilia is very rich. Parmigiano-Reggiano, tortellini, butter, cream, and all of this. And that's their wine of choice, is Lambrusco. Now, there are two types of Lambrusco. One is sweet and one is dry. The sweet ones, in my opinion, are not very good. What we need is a dry Lambrusco if you want a really good wine to go with a very rich dish.
Well, are you ready to try it? What do you
yes,
think?
we would have dueling spoons to get in
I
it.
think so. I can't
Be
wait.
careful. Wow. This is perfect with Lambrusco.
Oh, I think
the richness of this dish, Lambrusco will cut right through it, and a perfect combination, in my opinion.
It's really unique. It's salty, it's sweet. You have the nuttiness from the cheese, the creaminess from the cream and the eggs.
Wow.
It's going to go great with the wine.
Yes, I really tasted it, too. It goes great with the wine. Take my word for it.
Well, thank you very much.
It's a great dish.
For your suggestions.
Yes.
Ciao. We look forward to seeing you again next time.
And now Fred Plotkin, pleasure activist and connoisseur of Italian cultures, is going to talk to us about immigration and emigration. And Professor Robert Viscusi is going to talk to us about a classic of Italian literature, a book by Calvino.
Today we have two words, immigrazione and emigrazione. Immigration means going to another place. Emigrazione is sort of the opposite gesture. But when people move around the world, they move from one country to the next, sometimes just to find work, but they maintain the culture of the old, and sometimes they move to a new country and they plan to remain in that country. So about 110 years ago, there was a vast wave of Italian migration from southern Italy to the United States, from northeastern Italy to South America. Italians from all over their nation moved to other places, more recently Australia, also Germany after the Second World War, wherever there was work. But when they went to these new places, they brought their food, their culture, their language, their religions with them. And all over the world, you can find Italian communities that are vibrant, that have very good food, that has a church, that tends to have a cafe somewhere. And this is where Italians would gather and speak the language and speak of Vecchio Paese, of the old country, with great nostalgia, but many of them never returned. Now, younger generations of Italian Americans, Italian Argentines, Italian Australians can get on a plane and go back to the old country. And when they get there, they will discover that many people from Africa, from Asia, from South America have moved to Italy. Despite its economic problems, Italy is a very wealthy country. There is work to be had. There are opportunities for people. And they come there and they do the jobs that often Italians choose not to do or are unable to do. So therefore, I'm a believer that migration, the free flow of peoples, if done in such a way that it benefits both the host country and the people who come there, is something very positive. It enriches culture, it increases communication. And imagine, if you would, the United States without the presence of 40 million people of Italian origin. How poor would we be?
One of my favorite writers is the 20th century Italian novelist, mostly novelist anyway, Italo Calvino, who lived from 1923 to 1985. He lived through the Second World War. He lived through the amazing political convulsions of the post-war in Italy. And during this period, he developed an approach to writing that is just absolutely extraordinary. There's so many things that I would like to tell you about him, but I'll just stick to one of his books, which is probably my favorite of them all. It's called, in English, The Baron in the Trees. And it's a story about a young man, actually a teenager, whose father is a baron and who will eventually himself become a baron, who gets into an argument with his father and, in fact, much of his family, particularly his sister, who has the habit of cooking all of the family's food sometimes, and they sit down to a special dinner which the sister has prepared, in which all of the dishes are made entirely of snails, and he refuses to touch it. So they get into a big fight, and he goes out, and the next thing you know, he's sitting in a tree outside the window of the room where they're dining. And the father says, well, you have to come down sooner or later. And he sits there with his arms folded outside the window, and he says, I'm never coming down. And he never does. And this is a full-length novel. It's a couple of 100 pages long. And this young man, who eventually does become the Baron, never comes down from the trees. He goes from one tree to another. He travels all over this part of northwestern Italy, traveling from tree to tree to tree to tree to tree to tree. And he has bands of followers. He has lovers. He builds things. He reads things. He writes things. He's a great intellectual. He's a great character. He lives his entire life in the trees. It's a breathtaking book because, you know, at first you think, well, this isn't going to last. But Calvino actually carries it off. After maybe 100 pages or so, you forget that he's in the trees. You just take it as a given, and you know, it's a spectacular book. Really one of my favorites.
Italian pop star Jovanotti just moved to New York and is becoming a New Yorker. Let's listen to what he has to say about his new experience. We met for you also Marilu Monda, a young Italian Jamaican-American author who has a book that just came out in Italy. It's a fantasy. Is he gonna be the next Lord of the Rings?
Something I always have on my mind, that music can make the difference, that one song can give you the right word in the right time when you are listening to that. Because it happened to me. Music changed my life. Jovanotti is the stage name of Lorenzo Cherubini. That is me. I've been DJing for a lot of years in clubs and radios. I've been also hosting TV shows about music. And then from hip hop I moved to every other kind of music. I started doing my music, and I've done a lot of music, 25 years of albums, concerts. I play everywhere, you can tell, from the mountain to the prairie. I played in stadiums, in little clubs, in bars, in churches, in hospitals, in everywhere there were human beings. I've been making music in my life until now. And now I'm here in the United States to do music also in this amazing country. Here everybody wants to create identities, to give you strong identities, but actually my music is not a kind of music, it's my music. It's music, and so sometimes it's romantic, sometimes can be good for dance, sometimes can be electronic, sometimes can be organic, made with the hands. It's music. Hip hop is the most important influence I had, because in hip hop I discovered how important is the rhythm and the words. All over the world, wherever you go, you will find young people doing hip hop and doing rap. You go to China, you go to Africa, everywhere you go, because hip hop is the real language of my generation and the generation that was born after me. If a musician tells you that they is not interested in playing in the United States, he's lying. He's not telling you the truth, because this country is the most important country for music. If you want to do music, New York is the place. In this country has born so much important and beautiful music of the last century. New York is not even a city. New York is New York. It's a world. It's not a city. It's not a town. It's a universe. The most important thing about that is this collaboration with this label called ATO Records. That is an American, very, very, very important and high quality, high standard of music. You know, in their value scale, music comes first. Then there is business, then there is all the other tasks, but first comes music. So when you're with them in a room, you talk about music, you talk about beauty, you talk about energy, and that's what I really love. I'm coming out with a collection in Italy now. It's a big project because it's 25 years of music collected in a single project called Backup. I've done some new material and I recorded new songs. And the first one is coming out, it's called Tensione Evolutiva. Tensione Evolutiva means evolutional tension, something like that. Tension is intended as the tension you have between two lovers, you know? You never relax, you know, you always feel that you can learn something more. The difference between human beings and other animal form is that human beings are never completely satisfied. They're always searching for something more. And it's a sort of desire that we have that makes the difference. If you renounce to the desire, renounce to your human status, you know. And that's what I wanted to talk about in a pop way, you know. It's not a lecture of sociology or evolutionary history, you know. It's a pop song. I know that there are some Americans that are studying and discovering Italian through my songs. I met a lot of teachers, also professors of university that are using my songs to teach Italian. I'm proud of that. It makes me feel very good. You cannot learn Italian, I don't know, studying Leopardi or studying Dante, you know, because Dante is like learning architecture, studying the big buildings. You gotta start with little houses, you know. I do little houses. First of all, I am a human being, a social being, living in a society with a family, with desires, with dreams, with problems. I'm just representing my human social presence through my work, like everybody do. If you have a shop, you use your shop to tell your clients, to communicate to your clients your ideas, if you have ideas. Making music is no different from that. The difference is that you have a microphone, so you have the same tool that the politicians have. The different thing is that I can use emotions, and emotions are always maybe stronger than numbers. One song can give you the right word in the right time. I learn much more things through music and songwriting than from the politicians or from debate on TV.
Piove, senti come piove, Madonna come piove, senti come viene giù. Piove, senti come piove, Madonna come piove, senti come viene giù.
Hi, I'm Mary Lou Monda. I'm half Jamaican, half Italian. I'm 20 years old and I'm an aspiring writer. Writing fantasies or any genres, especially fantasy, it's who you are. It's understanding perspective. I am Italian and Jamaican, and I am a proud Italian Jamaican, and I will never forget my identity. But When I introduce myself, I say I'm a human being. I dreamt this book since I was a child. I used to go around, I would be playing with my cousins, my sister and brother. Then all of a sudden, I tend to do this. I always walk away and go to another room and just play by myself and just what I remember from my dreams. For me, it was just my stories, my dreams are private. It's not ready to come out. When I write because it's ready to be awakened. You have to write something that you know. Even though it doesn't exist, you have to write something that it's inside you. And that's the important part about writing. Well, I started officially writing this book when I was around 14 years old, maybe 15. It was first published in Italian. I was just happy. Either way, I want to be published in America as well, the UK, everywhere. I just want to share my gift. I was inspired by my readings of course, J.R.R. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. I was Rumi, who was a 13th century Persian mystical poet who talked about spiritual love of God and heaven, perception and emotions, what makes human beings connect, and that's what makes fantasy alive. And especially in my book, war is real, love is real. Whenever you believe in dragons or not, that's real for you. There is reality in my book. It's just that people have to find it.
We're gonna show you now some events that we covered for you in the past and give you some suggestions about the Italian things to do next week. What does it mean, tortellino?
Oh, it means a lot for me. It's almost the only thing that they were able to prepare from scratch in my home.
What's your favorite pasta?
Ravioli.
I love fil pasta, especially like tortellini. Fantastic, with a nice heavy cream sauce. It's the best for me. I can sit down and eat a bowl of it anytime.
This is a project, of course, of New York City Public Arts Fund. In this structure that was built by a Japanese artist named Tatsunishi, and I think that east-west connection is wonderful. Also because, let's be honest, Columbus was on his way to the Orient, and he just happened to bump into an island down in the Caribbean called San Salvador, and here we are. If I had a living room this big, I might have this statue.
It's 125 years. The chamber is an old lady, but she's very young in its spirit, and I think that tonight with a lot of people is the proof that it's very much alive.
With this enthusiasm, show the Italian industrial system will become always stronger.
This chamber has a big smile, a big heart, and a lot of big brains that are sitting at the various tables. We have a perfect cocktail.
Christmas tree and Neapolitan Baroque crutch at Met. Experience the Nativity coming back to life at the Met and immerse yourself in the Christmas spirit. Enjoy the traditional presepio composed by handmade figurines from the 18th century Neapolitan tradition. Art exhibition, Fantasy and Invention, Rosso Fiorentino and the 16th century Florentine drawing. An opportunity to learn more about the complex style of a pioneer of Benares. This is a chance to appreciate the work of other important Italian artists like Giorgio Vasari, Andrea Pontormo, and Andrea del Sarto. Scialoia, curated by Isabella del Frate. One of the most important voices of abstract art and of the Scuola Romana, abstraction and expressionism go hand in hand in his art that reminds us of Pollock. The exhibition is a must-see for all contemporary art lovers. Peppe Voltarelli, Trip Father's Belonging. This is a Canzone Italiana show. Mixing up the songs of famous Italian artists and his own songs, he tells his personal story of emigration from the south to the north of Italy and all over the world. Adventures in Italian Opera with Fred Plotkin. The third adventure of this season will be a conversation with Giuseppe Filianotti, the fine Italian tenor who is performing at the Met in the 2012-2013 season.
From warm bread to Colombo and some Giovanotti rhythm and some fantasy reading, we came to the end of this show. I hope you had a good time. I see you next week. Ciao.
This edition of Italy TV is sponsored by Rachel Ray's signature specialty food line. From her all-natural, extra virgin olive oil and balsamic vinegar to her stock in a box, all designed for preparing quick and convenient meals at home in less time with delicious results. And Baci Perugina chocolates. Say I love you the Italian way.